So today we're covering 10.4 area of polygons. So the first thing we need to talk about is apothem. An apothem is similar to a radius. Okay, so it's similar to the radius. So what is a radius? On a circle, not the area of a circle. It goes from the middle of the circle to the side, right? So the apothem is similar to the radius in that it goes from the center of the circle, or the center of a polygon, to the side. So if you have a polygon, so I'm going to just draw a hexagon here, because to me that's one of the easier ones. You're going to go from the center to the side. That is your apothem. So your apothem is from the center to the side. That's what you use in finding the area of a polygon. Now, when you are looking at a figure, sometimes they'll give you your altitude. Your altitude is similar to your diameter. What is a diameter? It goes from one side to the other, right? So the altitude is similar to your diameter in that it goes the whole thing, the whole length. So this would be the altitude. So half of your altitude is called your apothem. So just be careful, make sure you look at your picture and make sure you decide, is it going from the center to the side or is it the whole thing? I need from the center to the side. I need the radius, just like I need the radius of a circle. Questions on that one? So far, so good? All right. The formula I want you to use is not the one listed here. I want you to use 1/2 A and S. A is your apothem. N is the number of sides. And S is the length of each side. So I'm going to write that down. It's 1/2 ANS. A is your apothem. N is the number of sides. And S is the length of each side. So 1/2 ANS. This is the last new formula of the chapter. So the rest of this chapter uses things that we already have learned, okay? So just a reminder, so this is one of them, 1/2 ANS. There's area of a rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus, or square, which is base times height. Area of a triangle, which is 1/2 base times height. Area of a trapezoid, which is 1/2 parenthesis B1 plus B2, close your parenthesis, times H. And kite or a rhombus. Rhombus has 2 that you could use, but a kite would be 1/2 D1, D2, where D1 and D2 are diagonals, correct? And then there's area and circumference of a circle, but you're given those. Area is pi r squared, circumference is 2 pi r. So today you'll be using this formula in all of them. So for this first one, it says find the area. Okay, so remember we're using area equals 1/2 ANS. So that's 1/2. What is the length of my apothem? 5.5, good. N is the number of sides. How many sides are in this shape? There's 5. S is the length of each side. What's the length of each side? 8. And then you would plug this into your calculator. which is 110. The majority of your problems today will look like this. Okay? Now, there is one that looks like this. It has a square root in it. When it has a square root in it, you leave the square root alone, you multiply all the other stuff together, and then you just tack that square root on the end. Okay, so here, remember the area formula is 1/2 ANS. So 1/2, this is my apothem, so I'm going to do 3.5 square root of 3. N is the number of sides, and there's 6. And then S is the length of each side, so there's 7 is the length. So you're going to multiply this stuff that's not in a square root all together. So I'm going to do 0.5 times 3.5 times 6 times 7, which is 73.5. And then you just bring that square root down, and then you have square root of 3 tacked on. Do you guys have any questions on that one? Any questions on either of those? No? All right. So then they're going to have you solve stuff backwards. Okay? Cass, put your phone away. You're going to solve stuff backwards. So here we're missing our side length. So we're going to plug in everything that we know, and we're going to solve for that missing side length. So again, area equals 1/2 ANS. Your area is 172.5, and that equals 1/2. What's the length of my apothem? My apothem is 6.9. N is the number of sides. How many sides does this have? 5. And then the length of each side is x. We don't know the length of each side, so we're going to put x there. So then you get 172.5 equals, again, you're going to multiply these numbers together. Okay, so I do 0.5 times 6.9 times 5, which gets me 17.25 times x. And then I would divide each side by 17.25, which gets me that x is 10. So you're going to multiply together that stuff that's with your variable, and then divide by that combination of them all. I would like you to try this one on your own and see how it goes. Okay, see if you can find what x is in this shape. Try that one on your own right now. So area equals 1/2 ANS. So your area is 696 equals 1/2. Your apothem is x. The number of sides is 8. And the length of each side is 12. Okay, now, if you have that 12 and 8 switched, does it matter? No, it does not. So if you ever flip-flop numbers, it doesn't matter as long as your area is on this side. So we have 696 equals 1/2 times 8 times 12 is what you would put together. That's 48x divided by 48 means x is 14.5.